You know what? The money is there.
Yeah.
People say, I don't have enough of this, and they complain. Make the phone calls. Your business will transform overnight.
I'm Maude, and this is the Realtors Conspiracy Podcast, where we crack the code to real estate success. Learn from top realtors, entrepreneurs, and innovators about how to grow your business as we discuss real estate success stories, mindset, processes, motivations, and the key to their success. Check out our podcast every Monday to crack the code to success for your real estate business. This week, I'm speaking with Tavel from Remax Absolute Realty in Ottawa. Ross built his business on nurturing his database by avoiding the fear of rejection and simply making the calls. His integrity, hard work, and dedication to his time block for his calls allowed him to close more deals and grow his real estate business over the past 14 years. Let's get to my chat with Ross. Hey Ross, thanks for joining us on the podcast today. Tell us, what is the key to your success?
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'm excited to be here, of course. You know, in terms of keys to my success, I've had both ups and downs in this business. You know, it hasn't been all, roses, but, when I have been most successful in this business, I would say that I am connected to my database. I'm reaching out to people. I'm connecting with people. They know that I'm there. They know that I'm busy. And that's when I've had the most success. And I would say that would be the key to anyone, I would say, in this business. No matter what type of funnel you have, okay, it always comes down to a conversation. You have to be able to pick up the phone. You have to be able to communicate what your value is to these people, not process. Everyone talks process. And then you sound like everybody else. What benefit do you have to that person? And that is what I think you really need to focus on, and have it be sincere.
Yeah, that's amazing. You're touching on a few points there, like even just saying how sometimes people will use another realtor because they didn't know you were in the business still, or they didn't know you were still a realtor. By you being in touch all the time, they can never have that thought.
Exactly. And when I call people, I don't even talk about real estate. Well, it always ends up, we talk about real estate,
Everybody.
but I never bring it up. And I just want to know sort of how they're doing, what's new in life, because we've worked together before. And I find that I base my success on the number of trusting relationships that I have in business, whether it's with real estate or not, and I want to go home. I want to be surrounded by good people, and I want to be able to sort of call people and not be nervous to call them, have a good relationship, and that way, I could sleep at night.
Yeah, I love it. That's a really good
Thank
one.
you.
Tell us, how do you apply it? Like, how do you go about picking up the phone? A lot of realtors are kind of afraid or shy or not knowing what to say. How does that go for you?
Well, it's a good question, because I think that's maybe one of the hardest parts of this business. And if I were to go back and look back at my career, I would say that that's probably one of the things that I've struggled with the most, because it has to do with time management. It has to do with being uncomfortable and, getting over fear of, and I'm sure I've had it before. I'm not immune to things like that.
Yeah.
So I go about it by blocking time. Okay, blocking time. So between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., Monday to Friday, okay, I'm trying to get 4 out of those 5 days where I will make 45 minutes, will be my first session, okay? And then I'll call people in those 45 minutes. However long the conversations are is however long they are, you just let it flow. Then I'll take a 15-minute walk outside. Then I'll come back, and then I'll do another 45 minutes, because if you do longer than 45 minutes, you might lose some coherency, and you might, you get a little bit of burnout. To do it for longer than that, I would say would be a mistake. And then then you're in touch with your database. You know what information is correct and what information is not. So you have a low bounce back rate. And you update your information, you touch base with people. The database is the center of every good business in this day and age. And so your database, if it's not up to date and if it's not good, then your business is going to suffer. You might be losing money and you won't even know it.
Yeah, I love it. That's amazing. Keeping in touch, keeping your database up to date, all of that by just booking time in your time block in your calendar.
Time block, call, update, healthy database.
Yeah. You talked about the benefits of using you. What are the benefits for your clients? How do you communicate that value?
Well, good question, because I am kind of working on that right now. And funny, I have it in a little bit of a list form. Let me just get this open here. Yes. Okay. So what are the benefits to using me? It's a good question. I didn't even prepare for this, by the way, but I was writing this out in a list because we did our listing presentation. I'm redoing it right now.
Yeah.
And these are things I really like to emphasize, because if I talk about process, well, so everyone talks about process. No one talks about benefits. Again, like I think I said that earlier. So using me, I will do a staging analysis before getting in the actual stage, or when it comes to a listing, right? So I have a process that I go through for everything, whether it's a buyer or a seller. And that's just been developed over time. I've been in the business for 14 years now. So I've been in there long enough, and I've made enough mistakes that, I kind of know what's going on. So I will do a staging analysis, room by room, what needs to be fixed, take lots of photos, circle what I'm talking about. And then my goal is, I coined this term, as someone else I'd heard use it in the past. It's called the premium pricing strategy. Okay. When I list a home, I want it to look like I'm going into the show home of a new builder, like Minto or Mattamy. I want to go in. I want my listing to look like a show home, because if not, then I think people are leaving money on the table. And my job to represent buyers and sellers especially, is to help them get the most amount of money. That's my responsibility when someone hires me, and it's a big job. Just I'll also do financial analysis. My stats are really good. Like, overall, I'm about 105% over list price on all the listings I sold in 2021. My days on market is 25, when I think the average in the city is 31. Like, and so all that hard work, it really just benefits, and it trickles down to the client.
Yeah, totally get that. How do you leverage your listing once you have a listing to market or to get your next listing? You do a lot of referral business. How do you leverage your listings?
It's funny, out of all the business I did last year, because I had just done sort of a year in review, and 70% of my overall business was referrals. And that's not including the friends and family that actually used me to help them as well. So, I talk about referrals a lot. I have people, anyone who I talk to, I always say, hey, look, I'm never too busy with, for your referrals. That's the old Buffini term.
Yeah.
And I tell them, I say, my business is based on referrals. And what I like about that is that a referral is not an expensive lead. You honestly don't have to spend any money. You just have to have a conversation with your clients and ask them for it. And if you've done a good job, most of the time they'll be very happy, very happy.
How do you go about asking? If you're like, some people might be embarrassed to ask for referrals or testimonials. What's your key for that?
Well, every time I do close a house, I have I think it's like a 7-step process. Okay. So I start off with a thank you card, and then I say, hey, how's the house? I'm sure you must be getting to know your neighbors by now. And then the next question would be like, okay, so how's everything going? Look, if you have a moment, would you mind going online and doing a referral, whether it's on or a testimonial, whether it's on LinkedIn or Google Business?
Right.
That'd be great. And every conversation, no matter what, it's always, if you know anyone who's looking to buy or sell, please let me know. I would be more than happy to service them just as I had serviced you. And they know when they work with me, I will go all out. I put all my effort in, and legitimately, because one, as a realtor, we get paid very well. We
Mm-hmm.
get paid very well. I get paid well because I am willing to go and do everything it takes to sell a home, to help someone buy a home, to do all the research necessary in order to get it done right.
I love it. Very cool. What
Thank
would
you.
you say is the best advice you've ever received in your career?
And I had alluded to this earlier. I think the best advice that I had ever received was from a gentleman early on in my career. And he said, base your success on the number of healthy relationships that you can establish, because then they know that you care. They
Mm.
know who you are as a person. They understand your ethics, your values, the type of person you are. And when you really get to know somebody, I think that you have this real, a camaraderie, a bond, perhaps, that is genuine. And to me, that means a lot. That's the type of business that I would prefer to do. I'm not transactional based. I can never do that. I did try it at times. Doesn't work for me. I'm relationship based all the way.
Nice. Relationship based, keeping in touch. I love it. It's genuine, it's got integrity, everything you need to
I
be
really do
successful.
care.
Yeah, yeah. It shows too, people like that.
Thank you.
Nice. So you've had challenges in 14 years. You grew your business. What would be a challenge that you overcame that you'd like to share with us?
Well, let's see. Where do I start? The list is long. No, just to name, I'll just name a few. Fear of rejection.
Yeah,
When you make phone calls, when you talk to people, you're bound to catch someone on a bad day. You're bound to catch someone that just wants you as your realtor and doesn't want to really establish a relationship. But
sure.
that needs to be honored. They're obviously going through something, or maybe that's their type of personality,
Yeah.
but that's fine. And to me, I had to learn to hit the next button and move on to the next person, because that's the nature of this business.
Yeah.
It's a volume-based business. You have to have as many relationships as you can to be successful. And if something doesn't work out, you must develop in order to say, fine,
Hmm.
that person is where they are, and honor it, move on.
Yeah, I love it. This is so clear. This is so true. And hitting the next button versus the quit, and then just, I'm not gonna do phone calls this week. Like just moving on.
Yeah, I've fallen into that as well. And, being discouraged is very easy in this business.
Yeah.
It's like a roller coaster. Not long ago, one of my clients' parents called me, and they absolutely grilled me because they didn't think I was doing my job. And, I felt bad. But the reality is, I said to myself, no, I actually really did do my job. The information was coming as it was coming, and I was accused of not getting everything up front. And it doesn't happen too often, but when it does, you just have to take a step back and put things into perspective. you
Yeah.
know they're
Yeah.
freaking out because they're not used to doing these deals like we are. We
Yeah.
see this every day. To them, the panic button has been hit. Their kid, who they love, I, I have two kids. I freaking will do anything for my kids. I love them, right? And the same with these people. So, I get it. I get it. You got to take a step back, process, next.
Yeah. Talk to them, communicate expectations. I love it. This is great.
Yeah. Try your best every day, and make sure that you don't sacrifice your ethics. You don't sacrifice your integrity. There are times where you're going to have moments where it's a fine line, you know. You just want to make sure that you have good leadership. You want to make sure that you have somebody that you can talk to and get advice from. You know, it's nice to have a mentor. That was something that was very big for me later on in my career.
Yeah, mentor support. I love it.
Yeah, big time.
This is great advice. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. I'm sure a lot of realtors would love to get back in communication with their database and just continue to add relationship to their business.
Yeah, well, my pleasure, my pleasure. And you know what? The money is there.
Yeah.
People say, I don't have enough of this, and they complain. Make the phone calls. Your business will transform overnight. It's going to be feeling terrible to feeling great in a very short period of time. Trust me on this. Make the calls. The calls will solve your anxiety.
Everything.
Yes.
This is amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this. Where do we find you?
Okay, so www.rosstavel.com. Okay, I'm there, 613-218-2400. And even if you're a realtor and you just want to have a chat with me, send me a message. You know, just send me a text, give me a call. No problem. I will be more than happy to talk with anybody. Absolutely.
I love it. Mentorship, collaboration all around. That's great.
You know, you got to give back in order to, reap the rewards, I guess.
Yeah.
And I love it. I will share my strategies, my thoughts, anything with anybody, because you know what? This business is tough.
Yeah.
It's really, it's not an easy business. And so that's why, you know, if you kind of found the secret sauce, I mean, I love sharing it. To me, I just love it.
There's enough business for everyone. That's the key.
Absolutely. Well said. Yes.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for joining. Subscribe to our podcast, Realtors Conspiracy, today.